Hello, my name is Molly and I work for LetterMpress Interactive, and we are the makers of the LetterMpress app for the iPad and the Mac. And today I'm going to be using a Mac to show you how to make a simple holiday card for your friends and family. Now I'm using a Mac today, but all of these functions are the same in our iPad version of the app. So let's get started. First I'm going to go into my settings panel. I'm going to choose Child's Play mode. Child's Play means that all of the letters in the app are going to be reading when you're composing and when you're printing. It's just an easy way to use the app. And then I'm going to choose a page size. C4 is pretty close to the dimensions of a 5x7 sheet, which is a pretty standard card size, so I'm going to go with that. I'm also going to choose a high output resolution, so if I decide to print this later, it'll look really clean and crisp and pretty. So I want my card to say Happy Holidays from Molly. So I'm going to go into Compose mode. I'm going to choose Type and Art. I'm going to choose a typeface to write From Molly. So right now this face is at 6 lines. Wood type is measured in lines, which is 1/6 of an inch. So 6-line type is about an inch tall. If I wanted to make my type smaller, I could click to the left of where it says 6-line. If I wanted to make it slightly larger, I can click to the right of where it says 6-line. So now that I have this spaced out left to right as much as I want, I'm going to go into the Furniture panel. Furniture is negative space that you can use to align all of your type and objects. I'm going to drag down a piece and I'm going to hold down the mouse. So you saw it wiggle a little bit, and now there's a shadow. That means that this piece of furniture is floating above the press bed. I can drop it down by double clicking, but that means when I move it, it's going to move all of these letters around as well. So I'm going to hit undo, and I'm going to double click it again to make it float. This way I can move it around, rotate it, and resize it without messing up my composition at all. So when I hit Option and Shift, I can resize. When I hit Command and Shift, I can rotate in increments. Now I can align all these letters. I'm going to put another one on top as well. Okay, now I know that for my card, I want some things in the background to be printed before I print Happy Holidays from Molly. So I'm not going to print this just yet. What I'm going to do is go to the galley tray and hit Save. This means that I can save it for later and print it after I've printed some fun backgrounds. I've already composed some of those here, so what I'm going to do is double click to load one of them. Now I'm going to go into print mode. First thing, I'm going to select a paper that I like. Then I'm going to go to the paper rack. If I wanted to print over top of something, I could, but I'm just going to select a clean sheet. Then I'm going to go into my ink panel. And I can custom mix an ink using these palette knives as sliders. I can use CMYK mode or RGB mode to do that. Or I can choose a pre-made swatch. So I want this to be a light color since it's going to be in the background, so I'll go with this one. I can also choose heavy coverage or light coverage of the ink. Because this ink is already fairly transparent, I'm going to use heavy coverage. And now that I'm ready to print, I'm going to click here on the carriage and roll it down the press bed. So this looks good. These colors aren't too dark or light, so I'm going to hit keep. That saves the sheet to the paper rack so I can print over it later. When I double click, it loads the sheet onto the feed board so that for my next composition, it'll be ready to print. So I go back into compose mode, back into the galley tray, and double click my next composition. I'm going to choose a different ink color. Let's see. And print. Alright, that looks good, so I'm going to keep it. Now I like the color, but it's a little bit lighter than what I want. So I'm going to go back in and make the ink a little bit more opaque. I'm going to hit reject, and it won't be saved into the paper rack. Alright, that's closer to what I was looking for, so I'm going to save this one. Alright, this is pretty close to what I want, but I want to scoot the word Molly a little bit more to the right so that it aligns with the letter Y and S in Happy Holidays. Alright, that's what I was looking for. So I'm going to keep it, and then I'm going to export it. In the paper rack here, you can select Export. This saves it as a PNG file to your iPad or your Mac. And then with that PNG file, you can email it or post it online or pull it into another program like Photoshop to manipulate it further. So there you go. Happy holidays from LetterMpress, and I hope you enjoyed the tutorial.